welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will be doing a very exciting DIY in the next little while using those pennies that you may have pressed while you were at the Disney parks. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing things that I would not do again if I were to go back to Disney. And the main reason saying that is because I'm from Canada, Disney is expensive, and I really wouldn't want to waste my money on my next trip. And in some of these things, I did waste my money. And so I want to help you guys out by not making these same mistakes. The first thing that I would not do again is have a short trip. I went for 5 days, but being from Canada, it makes more sense to go for longer and less frequently, if that makes sense. So one of the main things that I wouldn't do is to go on a short trip without the park hopper. And if you're not familiar with the park hopper, it basically allows you to visit multiple parks per day. And I was like, well, I'm going for the first time. There's going to be so much stuff to do in each park. Why would I waste my money on the park hopper? And at the time, it seems like a lot of money because we were in university. I was working 2 jobs. My boyfriend was working a full-time job. And we weren't really struggling, but in a way we kind of were because we wanted to hit these goals. But you know, we have bills to pay, we had tuition to pay. And so it was kind of difficult to be spending the money to do things without knowing the benefits of those things. And park hopper was one of those things I was like, I don't need the park hopper. We're gonna be having so much fun. Why would we need to leave a park every day? Let me tell you, you need the park hopper. It is so annoying to get to a park and that park is packed with people. You just want to leave, but you're thinking, I just spent all of this money, I have to stay in this park. It can get kind of tiring. And even though like you can't make some fast passes for one park and other fast passes for another park, I would still have done the park hopper, and I would have still done fast passes with one park in the morning and then try and get more fast passes for the afternoon for another park. It was something I would totally do. But by the time we got to the park, it wasn't realistic for us to buy a park hopper just because we were basically poor on our first day. Like we spent so much money. So park hoppers would have been fantastic for our trip because we wouldn't have been bound to one park. And I know my boyfriend was kind of antsy. He really did want to go to the other parks. And a little story for you, we had a dining reservation for the Boardwalk, a little restaurant in the Boardwalk. I don't remember the name of it. I don't think it was English, but it was to see, you know, Ariel and the Prince and Rapunzel and Flynn. And so we were on our way to there. I was saying, you know, we'll just go to Epcot. People go like walk to Epcot from the Boardwalk, no problem. There must be a way to walk around Epcot and get to Boardwalk. Let me tell you, there is not. So that day we got to Epcot and we're saying, you know, we need to get to the Boardwalk. How do we walk around? You can't walk around. So we had to get onto the monorail. We went to the TTC, which I didn't know what that was. And I was kind of panicking because, you know, they were like, oh, just go to the TTC. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. It's Tickets and Transportation Center, just in case you needed to know that. So we're making our way there. We get to the TTC. We find a cast member. We tell them, we are trying to get to the Boardwalk. How might we do that? And they're like, well, there's no buses that will take you there right now. You might as well take the ferry and go to Magic Kingdom. And we were going to Magic Kingdom that day. we just weren't going to Epcot, so we couldn't cut through Epcot like we should have done, and we should have just, you know, canceled everything in Magic Kingdom and went to Epcot that day. We didn't do that. So we get on the ferry and we're going to Magic Kingdom. We get to Magic Kingdom and we have to wait for a bus. So needless to say, we were late for that reservation. And if we had the park hopper, we wouldn't have been late. So that is definitely one thing to think about if you're trying to resort hop, which is what we were trying to do but completely failed. Park hopper would have saved our like 100%. The next thing that I want to talk about is not giving Epcot and Hollywood Studios enough time. Mainly Epcot enough time. Hollywood Studios, at the time, there was no Toy Story Land. I don't even think Toy Story Mania was running when we were there, which is kind of unfortunate. I would have wanted to try that ride. But we had gone to Hollywood Studios the day that we had arrived because we were like, we don't need a full day, it's fine. So we get to Hollywood Studios, we're like, we don't need a whole day. We'll just go on our first day and do kind of a half a day, which was fun. It worked out for us. We got to do everything that we wanted to do. We did Hollywood Tower of Terror, we did Rock and Roller Coaster, you know, we did all those kind of main attractions. You know, we did Beauty and the Beast live action, and we did The Little Mermaid, two of the biggest things that we wanted to do. But after coming back from that trip, I would have loved to see Hollywood Studios lit up. But we left early because the day that we had arrived, we were so tired that by, I want to say 6 p.m., we were done. We wanted to get to the hotel. I wasn't as done as the other two because when I got to the hotel room, I just wanted to get my bathing suit on and go swimming. There's no one in the pool. It would have been great. They didn't want to do that, so we didn't end up doing that. And when I say that Epcot needs more time, I'm saying like book 2 days of Epcot. If you're going on a 5-day trip, book that extra day as Epcot. Because let me tell you, if you want to drink around the world, eat around the world, that takes your whole day. And so we were there pretty close to rope drop, not super early. There was some complications when we woke up that day. My boyfriend had some loan issues that, you know, university life, he needed to leave and he needed to fax some information. So we did get to the parks a little bit late. Me and my friend had gone off and we did a ride while we waited for Naja to get back because we were there early. Just we didn't kind of get going until later because we had to wait for him to get back, and then they went off because they were into pressed pennies. I'm telling you, we have a lot of pressed pennies, and the DIY I have planned is really cool. So don't forget to tune in next video. So I would have liked to have done Epcot in 2 days. That would have made the whole thing a lot less stressful because Epcot that day was super stressful, and I'll get into dining reservations in a little bit. So we did an early evening reservation at Via Napoli, which was great. I think that was probably my favorite restaurant. We each got different pizzas. We each tried a piece of everyone's pizza. We got a nice alcoholic beverage. The wine that I had was absolutely incredible, and I wish that I had taken a picture of the name of the wine so that maybe somehow I could find it in my real life, but I didn't do that, and that's another thing that I will talk to you in a moment. But yeah, we had done the World Showcase. That was great, but what I really wish that we had done was taken a day to do, you know, the World Showcase and actually take time in each pavilion because they are so detailed, and when you walk into the pavilion you really do feel like you are in that area even though the temperature may be wrong. we didn't do the American Pavilion because we were in America. We were like, we eat American food every single day. We're probably gonna drink American drinks a few times in the trip. So we didn't waste our time with the American Pavilion. And the other pavilion we didn't do was Canada. By the time we got to Canada, we were so tired and we were getting really close to that reservation. That was some of our stress. We bought some food in Canada because there was a poutine that they were raving about that was so great. And we're like, we gotta try this, you know. We grow up with poutines in Canada. So we really wanted to try, you know, the Americanized version of the poutine. It was some potato kind of soup, white soup that was put over French fries. They had it going for the Flower and Garden Festival, which was the time of year that we had gone. And, you know, it was alright. Was it a poutine? I don't really think so. Poutine is gravy, cheese, and fries, in my opinion. We didn't try the maple popcorn, even though that is kind of like the iconic food for Canada. And another thing we didn't do is we didn't walk around the pavilion. You would think, being from Canada, we would kind of see what's going on and what they think Canada is, but we didn't. And honestly, from first looking at the pavilion, I think they should have done one section of like main Canada and one section of the east coast of Canada. I'm from the east coast and we were not represented at all in this pavilion. It kind of looked like the Yukon or something. I'm not saying it wasn't a beautiful place. It is actually, my boyfriend did like a little selfie shoot there with one of the Magic Maker people, which was kind of funny seeing that pop up because we didn't know that's what he was going to do. And he had done Drink Around the World, so he was kind of feeling it, and I think that's why he did it. Anyways, I think everyone in the group wished that we had more time because we didn't get to do Test Track, which I believe is a popular ride in Epcot. I'm not quite sure because we didn't get to do it. We did do Mission Space. I did it twice. My friend did it once because she doesn't do motion as much, and my boyfriend had done it twice. And there's a green side and an orange side or a red side. I think the green is the easy side and the red side is like the harder side. I'm not quite sure. If you know, comment down below because I don't remember. Anyways, so me and my friend did the easy side once, and then I went with Naja and we did the hard side after he had already done it because he was like, I don't want to do the easy side. I want to do the hard side or no side at all. So he did the hard side twice. And the difference, I mean, I think my friend could have done it. It wasn't too bad. There was it spins you, so you get some gravity. But other than that, I mean, it was fun. But it wasn't, I didn't think it was too bad. So there was that. And we also didn't get to do the Nemo section, which was kind of unfortunate. I would have really liked to see it. My boyfriend is really into marine science, and my friend even, I think, did some marine biology type classes in school. So they both kind of like marine, and I love marine too. I love whales, I love dolphins. Would I see them in a park? No. But I do like aquariums and fish and stuff like that. And so it was kind of sad that we didn't get to do that. I really wanted to do the Turtle Talk with Crush, even though I think it's for little kids. Mainly because my boyfriend loves turtles and I think it would be really cute. I mean, there's so much stuff in Epcot that we didn't get to do. Mainly because we took so much time to do the pavilions. So much time. Because by the time we got to Canada, we went to Soarin'. I think we had a fast pass. I don't remember. But we went to Soarin' because I was like, Najee, you need to try this. This is a fantastic ride. Me and my friend really enjoyed Soarin'. And if you don't know what Soarin' is, they kind of blast scents at you and you fly through the world. It's really cool. And so we had to try it. And we had got to Soarin', and then when we left Soarin', we're like, oh no, we're gonna be late for our reservation again. By the way, we were late for every single reservation. Not so much the fast passes, there was only one or two, I think it was just one that we were late for. But food reservations, we were late for every single one, which is one thing that I kind of regret and I kind of would not do again. Anyways, I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. So the next thing that I want to talk about is kind of for you bigger people out there that are kind of, you know, my size or maybe bigger, maybe a little smaller, whatever. If you are at all overweight or if you do not walk a lot, I highly recommend you increase your walking before you go on this trip. And you might be thinking, well, I don't really like walking. Love walking. There was one day we did 20,000 steps, maybe 25,000. If I can find it in my Fitbit, I will show you. But we did some crazy amounts of walking. And as a big person, I cannot describe to you the pain that I was in by the end of my trip. By the time we got to Universal Studios, my feet were in so much pain because I'm a big girl. I had not done a whole lot of walking before my trip. I mean, I did do some walking. We walked to and from school every day. I walked to and from work every day. But I mean like long distance walking, like take an hour out of your day and go for a walk. You know, like I'm serious. I cannot reiterate that enough. And if you are a big person, take ibuprofen regularly because I was so swollen, especially I think if you're from a colder climate, this would probably affect you a lot more. Because I was swollen too. I was swollen, I was sore, and I should have been taking ibuprofen regularly, but I didn't, and I had to suffer the consequences, and it was not pretty. It was not a pretty consequence. The next thing that I want to talk to you about is not using the memory maker like a lot, and I mean a lot. So we paid for the memory maker. It was something that I gifted to my boyfriend and my friend. It was something that I really wanted. And so, you know, I paid for it. And we did not use it as much as I hoped we did. We did use it a lot, and I will insert some pictures. I mean, they're really pretty, really nice quality photos. But what I mean is, not just the memory maker, but actually taking your own personal photos. There's not a memory maker everywhere as you're going to be. You can't have, you know, your own personal person taking pictures for you all through your trip. And so now looking back, I wish I took pictures of my food. I wish I took pictures of all the little parts of Disney that I really loved and I really like to look at. The main reason I didn't personally take photos is because my camera at the time was broken. You know, the camera itself kind of had a crack down it, which is really unfortunate because it did take nice quality photos. And I did have a camera with me, but it was a large camera. So something that I wouldn't do again is bring a big camera with me. And I definitely plan on buying a smaller camera. Right now I'm filming on my phone, but I do hope to buy, you know, a vlogging camera and actually vlogging my trips so that I have that video documentation of my trip that I can look back on. Because I know for me personally, I get really sad when I see other Disney vloggers and their trips because I want to be at Disney again. And I don't have that documentation of my trip. So even if you aren't going to post it on YouTube, just taking videos while you're there will help you remember that trip so much. Like, pictures are so much better than things. I know I have this shirt. I bought this shirt. It's not actually mine, it's my boyfriend's. But we both got one of these. And we love it. It, you know, it brings back memories, but actually having those physical memories of the trips, you know, walking into parks, our reactions to the parks would have been really nice to have. So the next thing that I want to talk to you about is kind of a biggie, and that is the meal plan. We have got the medium meal plan. Do I remember what it's called? No, I don't. I think it's just dining. I don't remember what it's called, but I will put the name up here. So it basically means that we get a table service, a quick service, and 2 snacks per day, which, you know, you're probably thinking that's not a crazy amount of food. I mean, 2 snacks for breakfast, your quick service for lunch, and your table service for supper. What's wrong with that? Well, the problem is that the table services that we had reserved were all you can eat. And being a university student, the thing that we did was whenever we had, you know, an all you can eat buffet, we would stuff our faces. We would eat as much as we can, maybe tuck some stuff in our bags. I mean, you know, you would get your money's worth with the quick. What I felt was you didn't get your money's worth with the table service being an all-you-can-eat buffet. So that's, I guess, if you wanted to do it and you wanted a sit-down restaurant that wasn't an all-you-can-eat, maybe it would be a little bit different. You probably wouldn't feel as full. But we really wanted to get, you know, our money's worth. We're university students. That's what we do. But now thinking back on it, I would have rathered just paying out of pocket, getting a few snacks in a day. I would have really rathered having multiple snacks than a couple of meals. Because not only would you be able to try more food, but you'd also have the ability to sit down multiple times throughout the day. You know, grab a snack and find some shade. And I would say that would have helped my feet a lot on that trip. But we didn't do that. We didn't have that ability to sit down so many times. We really did use our credits, you know, go big or go home. And that was one thing that I do regret, because their portion sizing in America, although it doesn't look big, it is very filling. Their food is extremely filling. So maybe if you're gonna do the meal plan, stretch your stomach first. Like, I don't know, like just binge eat before you go. Maybe that would help. Another thing with the dining plan is it really forces you to plan out as many meals as you're staying. So the way the meal plans work is every night of stay you get, you know, a table service, a quick service, 2 snacks. And so that's fine, but it was very stressful. So essentially every day that you're there, you need to plan a table service dinner. And in one case, we did a quick service at the Be Our Guest restaurant for lunch, and that is also a planned meal. And that can be really difficult because, you know, you want to be at the parks, and you know, some of the restaurants were in the parks, some of them were on different properties, and so it can be really difficult to kind of coordinate where you're going to be and, you know, how long it's going to take you to get to these places. We left time, but still we ended up being late literally every time. So unless you're a Wonder Woman at time management, or, you know, you wanted to lose some time in the parks just to go sit down, that's fine. But for our trip, we lost so much time trying to get to these places. And I definitely would have, you know, done a dining service every other day or something. And I think doing that would have saved us a lot of money. Or maybe even doing the cheaper option, doing a quick service meal plan where it's just, I think, 1 quick service and 2 snacks per day. Or maybe it's 2 quick service. I don't know. I will post it in this little blank spot right here. But again, that was something that took time from our trip, something I wouldn't do again. I would just plan every other day, just the main restaurants that I wanted to do. I would probably go to V Napoli again for pizza in Italy. But would I go to Liberty Tree Tavern again? No, I would not. Would I do some of the all-you-can-eat restaurants again? No, I would not. So definitely, kind of sit down, figure out which restaurants that you really want to go to. And a tip for you, if you're not going to do the meal plan and you want to save a little bit of money, buy groceries. It's not that hard to get a hold of. We didn't. We brought some food with us, which, if you're Canadian, do that. It saves money. And the last thing that I want to talk about in regards of the meal plan is using your snacks effectively. On your last day, if you have snack credits left, go and get something that you really want. Do a little bit of research. There's the DFB guide, which I should have taken a minute just to kind of browse around to see what they would have recommended in Animal Kingdom. That was our last park. But our last snacks were terrible. We ended up getting like fudge and a slush puppy type thing and really bad cupcake. Like, I'm pretty sure Animal Kingdom has better food than that. But that's what we ended up having. And that was such a waste of snacks. Like, use your snacks wisely. Don't just not use them, but use them wisely. The next thing I want to talk to you about is not hitting the parks at rope drop, which was difficult for us because my friend does not like getting up in the mornings. And so we really did miss the rope drop pretty much every single time, which is a little bit disappointing just because we could have gotten a couple things done before the park got so crowded and busy. We still got to the parks pretty early, but we would have had to leave our hotel a lot earlier than we did. I think we left around 8 or 9 in the morning and we should have left at like 6:37 in the morning. Which next time we do go, it'll probably just be me and my boyfriend. And my boyfriend's, a morning person. I'm working on it. I'm not a complete morning person. But when I'm in Disney, I want to get up and I want to go. And apparently my dog does too. So yeah, hitting the parks at rope drop, definitely something that I would do again. And I wish that I had done on my last trip. This next tip is get a gift card on your first day and load it up with whatever spending money you're going to use at Disney. It was a little bit difficult for us just because we were going to Universal later, so we wanted to have a little bit of American cash for that and to pay, our Uber to get there and kind of things like that. But if we had known that there was little gift cards that goes around your wrist and how easy it is to use your gift card, I know you can use your Magic Band, but I will get to that in a minute. That's more of a Canadian tip. Being Canadian, it's just, you have to be careful with that. It would have been so nice to have that gift card for our whole trip. We ended up getting it in, the middle of our trip when we were at Epcot. Mainly for the drink around the world. If you're doing the drink around the world, get a gift card. When it's gone, it's gone. It works out really nice. Okay, so if you're Canadian and you're still here, I have 4 more tips for you and 4 things that I wish I did on my last trip. So tip number 1 would be find a good time to go. When we went, it was May, and if you're from the East Coast, May for us Like, it is May right now, and it is less than 10 degrees, cloudy, raining, cold. So to go from this temperature and go to Florida, which is hot, let me tell you, May in Florida for a Canadian was hot. My boyfriend is from Dominica, so he was fine with it, but I was boiling. And same, I think, with my friend. I don't think she was boiling as bad, but I was boiling. And that was one thing that I wish that I had gone in February or January, because it was so hot. And I would have rathered the cooler temperatures. My next regret as a Canadian, I wish that I had left enough time to drive from where I live in Nova Scotia all the way to Boston. You're probably wondering why. Let me tell you, the prices to get from Boston to Florida is significantly different than prices to get from Halifax to Florida. Go search it. I'm not lying. So I really wish that we had left some time to do that. But things being the way that they were, my friend had a really important interview that she had to go to in PEI. And so we went to that literally the day before we left. She had that. We got back to Nova Scotia. We kind of tried to wind down, get to bed early. We had a really early flight, so we had to get to the airport. I think it was around 3 or 4 in the morning we had to leave. So we tried to get to bed early. Did it work? No, it didn't. I was way too excited. But we put some David Attenborough. That's a really good tip. If you're really excited, put some David Attenborough on and you'll fall right to sleep. But if we didn't have to go to that interview, I would have gone to Boston. I would have spent that night in Boston. I would have drove, nonstop from Nova Scotia really early in the morning all the way to Boston. Like, I would have done it. I would have found a hotel that would keep our car, and I would have done it. It would have saved so much money and makes so much sense. Another thing that I regret and I wish I had done was save more American money. We ended up having to use a credit card, and this is why I say be careful about putting your credit card onto your Magic Band. We ended up having to use credit card, and it's not cheap. You have to pay that exchange, and then this is why I say this is kind of a mixture of two things. So 3 and 4 put together. When you're searching for a credit card, whether it be for anything, take a look at credit cards that don't charge you a foreign exchange fee, because that will save you money. That will be a benefit to you, and it will make putting your credit card onto your Magic Band a little bit, more easier on the bank, if you know what I mean, more easier on the pockets. So yeah, that was actually a tip my boyfriend gave me. Search around for a credit card. Make sure you get, a good credit card for your money. So along with the credit card, make sure you're saving that American money. Go exchange money when the dollar is better, when it's $1.20 instead of $1.35, where I think it is right now. And that can save you quite a bit of money if you're able to do that. If you like this video, don't forget, hit that notification button, subscribe, because I am coming up with another video very shortly. It will be my next video of a DIY project using pressed pennies. And if you've been to the parks, you probably have a couple laying around. But with that being said, I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day and super excited about your trips coming up if you have a trip booked. And I will see you guys real soon.